And now it's time for your viewer comments. Raduldo says, what basic Casioak is missing to make it the best G-Shock tier ever is the loom and solar powered, and of course the price not to change too drastically. That's it. Okay, maybe Rodoldo is kind of asking too much here, but in fact they're actually able to do this already, minus the loom. They're able to release the GA-2100 that has the tough solar and the Bluetooth connectivity, and the price jump isn't that crazy, and it's not that close either for you to not consider the regular stock GA-2100. I think that's what G-Shock is able to successfully step you over to the next tier, helping you make that baby step to climb up the ladder. But adding loom is just going to increase the price even more. So by doing that, then it would disqualify anything that Ridaldo wanted to see here. Roth69 says, I bought a Casioak back when it was first released in North America. When I saw it in person, it just didn't grab me. I sold it and went to the GA-2000 instead. I like the compatibility with regular watch straps without the needs for adapters, and the larger buttons were a plus as well. I do like the metal version of the Casioak, however, and I have a few G steels also. That's what he's saying. That's also a very good point. We have to remember what Bogrot says here is the GA-2000 was the first foray of G-Shock using the carbon core guard technology, and that has been introduced to many of G-Shock's models, and quite frankly that is a game changer for many of them because it was lightweight and durable, and they were able to be more flexible when it comes to introducing crazier designs. But also another great feature of the GA-2000 is that you can swap bands, and that's an intentional design choice by G-Shock to promote the customizability of the GA-2000, and this is what introduced many of those technologies, the quick release spring bars, although it's already being used in many watches. But for G-Shocks, this is something that they aggressively promoted for that watch line, the GA-2000 line, and that's actually a really solid choice from Bogra. Thank you. Paprice says, I'm a diehard G-Shock fan, and I've never gotten into the 2100 series. Something about them is too bland and conservative. What's wrong with me? They're so popular. Well, let me put on my psychiatrist. Is it a psychiatrist or psychologist? Whatever. Hat here. Honestly, there's nothing wrong with you, Paprice. There's nothing wrong with not going with the flow or what's popular. These Casioaks are popular for a reason because it hits the right notes and the right preferences of people, or at least most people out there. You're not what most people are. Sad to say, or maybe happy to say. Be happy of your uniqueness and of your taste. Be proud that you have a different taste, and there's nothing wrong if you don't like the Casio. You can still stick to the other G-Shocks like what you said. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Don't worry. You don't need a therapist or you don't need medication for that. Jeff Sansom says, I actually read your description, but I'm not going to quote your quote, LOL. I really enjoyed your review, your video tricks and sense of humor. Actually had me laughing out loud at sausage digits. Well, for quoting what I wrote in the description, you will now be inducted to the Pirate Hall of Fame. Horological Pirate Hall of Fame. Even I keep forgetting that. Horological Pirate Hall of Fame. You will now be inducted in the Horological Pirate Hall of Fame for paying attention to the descriptions. So, for all of you out there, if you keep paying attention to the descriptions and what I'm going to quote there, well, let me know. You could be included in this Hall of Fame. Peter Campbell says, I'm afraid that the Casioak makes me think of the Ferrari kit cars built on a Pontiac Fiero chassis. That being said, I'm happy with the stock Casio. AP styling doesn't do anything for me. And yeah, and he talks about other things about the previous show. And yeah, that's fine too. That's another area where I think I mentioned that in the video that many of the people are divided with these Casioak mods. He just really wants to stick to the stock design, which is also quite admirable. Many of us are quite tempted to mod these watches regardless of the virtue of sticking to the original design of the creators, and that's something that I cannot fault anyone, but for us or certain people like us who want to design to tinker things, we naturally want to mod stuff, and that's not a popular opinion or a popular take on these watches, especially for collectors. So that's fine also from Peter Campbell. Wow, we're a generally positive show so far. Melvin Ramirez says, another great content as always. If you're only allowed to grab one G-Shock, what would it be and why? Well, to me, it's that gold and blue MRG that was released a couple of years ago. That is the one that I'm going to be grabbing if you want me to grab one. It has all of the handcrafting that I ever wanted. It's gold. I know it's kind of precious, but it's also tough. It's one of those rare G-Shocks that actually exudes a lot of the Japanese personality and spirit in it, and that's something that I think represents a G-Shock and its technology. And if there's one model, that's it for me, G-Shock. There's also that $75,000 pure gold G-Shock Square, but that's not my thing. This one has more of the artisan flavor to it.